Broadcasting from Slough. Streaming around the world.
This is Mark Denholm on Atom Radio.
Atom Radio. Oh, yeah. Playing the music you want to hear.
The podcast.
AtomRadio.co.uk.
Hello, welcome to episode 127 of the best bits of Atom Radio's Drive Time. At the end of winter time and the start of summertime, it'll be British summertime from 1 a.m. on Sunday, 28th of March. Good news, most clocks in 2021 just deal with it themselves, if I'm honest, but you may have an old clock somewhere in the car, maybe in the living room or something that needs to be done manually. So yeah, don't forget to do it. 1 a.m, 28th of March. On the podcast this week, we have parking woes, dress codes, kids TV, the good and the bad. We've also got singles and we've got wildlife with their own adaptation of Knockdown Ginger. All that and more is coming up on the best bits of Atom Radio's breakfast show for this week. You can, of course, when you're finished, feel free to subscribe, and then you'll get next week's in your app absolutely when you want it, where you want it.
AtomRadio.co.uk.
A lady at the weekend has been pictured, imagine this, like she was trying to park her car in the local Sainsbury's. Not sure how she's managed this, but in trying to park her car, so you'd imagine a low-speed manoeuvre, she has managed to flip it onto its side. Her beige-coloured Vauxhall Corsa has been pictured wedged on its side. Great parking, love. Great parking. You know, when you watch those programmes like 100-Year Drivers, number one, most of them featured in it were like in their 80s or 90s, and that's sort of 100. And number two, all of them featured in it, I think, should just hand in their licence. It's scary to think, isn't it, that when we go out, we are sharing the roads with these people.
Mark Denholm on Atom Radio. Atom Radio.
Mark Denholm at breakfast on Atom Radio. Today asking you about lockdown habits that you have picked up over the last 364 days that must go either on or by 21st of June. In West Sussex, Seymour Primary School has issued a playground etiquette letter concerning attire for school run. Mums and dads have been asked not to wear skimpy outfits when picking up their children. This includes miniskirts, low-cut tops and pyjamas when they turn up to the gates as well. It's also suggested that they should dress appropriately when giving their children to the school to give them a sense of pride and commitment to value, saying wearing clothes that are too skimpy or for other times of the day is not setting a good example. So now even the parents have to adhere to a dress code when dropping their kids off at school.
Mark Denholm on Atom Radio.
I remember saying that in lockdown 1, everybody was like, oh, look at what I've decorated. Social media was filled with pictures of decorated rooms, wasn't it? And done up gardens and everything. And I thought, oh, I've achieved nothing in lockdown 1. And then along came lockdown 2 and I achieved nothing again. And then in lockdown 3, I've just kind of breezed through this one as well and coasted through it as well. So, Nige, I don't think that's too bad. As you said, it's just hard, isn't it, now that you're going to have to think of which ones to drop. That's a bit of a shame, really, isn't it?
Yeah! Mark Denholm.
AtomRadio.co.uk.
Today, we're asking you TV shows from your childhood. If you could still watch one today without any criticism, what would you watch? Obviously, the best way to do this, I have found, is to either have a child or a godchild, because I could get away with watching children's stuff when I was with my godson and now with my own son, but I don't know. If I didn't have children, I probably wouldn't get away with it. We're asking you today, though, if there was no judgment, then what would you watch from your childhood if it was still being made today? Tasha says, I would love to be able to still watch Art Attack. I thought it was brilliant back in the day, and it really got me into art. And I went on to do GCSE, and now I'm training to be an art teacher. Look at that! Just from a kids' TV program. People say some of them are nonsense, and some of them are. But I'm amazed by that.
Mark Denholm on Atom Radio. Atom Radio.
Suzanne emails and picks up on something that I said earlier. I mentioned that I don't think kids today get the same quality of TV that when I say we, I mean I got. Because obviously you may be older than me, you may be younger than me, I don't know. But Suzanne picks up on it here, and this is a great example because I've kind of been through this myself. On the subject of TV not being as good as it is, Thomas the Tank Engine, says Suzanne. When I was younger, my brother used to watch Thomas the Tank Engine, and then when I had my first son, he used to watch Thomas the Tank Engine, and there was quite a difference, like in the 20-odd years between when my brother watched it and when my first son watched it, around 2004-05. Okay? So then we move on. Tash has a daughter who has no interest in Thomas the Tank Engine at all, and another son who loves Thomas the Tank Engine, and said it was such a shock. It was totally different. It was all like animation and stuff, and every engine spoke for itself rather than having the narrator, who would have been, well, it would have been Ringo Starr first time around, and Michael Angelis, the late Michael Angelis, did the ones that your first son would have watched. But yeah, it's totally and utterly different now. It's all CGI and models, and they're gone. It's all animation, CGI and everything, and it's totally different. And therefore, I agree. Children today do not get as good TV as they did, as you said. Thank you, Suzanne. Have a lovely day.
Mark Denholm on Atom Radio.
Some people have claimed, now I don't want to get into the rights or wrongs of vaccines. I've had mine, and if you get offered one, I think you should take it. That's my opinion. Some people have claimed that they've lost their teeth. They've claimed it's given them increased flatulence. One lady has claimed that her eye has changed colour, holding breath, crying, weight loss, and a fear of death, all just from having a vaccine. Wow.
Mark Denholm.
AtomRadio.co.uk.
Today we're talking about singles, as in people who don't have other halves. New research has come out this week saying that many single women, it does apply to men as well, ladies, it's, days of equality. Many single women dread being asked about their love life at get-togethers or social events, even if they are perfectly happy without a partner, because many of the phrases and questions asked imply that there is something wrong with being alone, and some of the top phrases that you should not say to single people. So, have you met anyone yet? I know just the person to set you up with. Are you seeing anyone special? Why do you think you're still single? Those are some of the top phrases that you should not say to a single person. Therefore, bearing in mind that everybody, even those who have been married for 20, 30, 40 years, they were all single at some point in time. My question to you today is, what's the worst thing that anyone has ever said to you about being single? On air at atomradio.co.uk. Fire away.
Mark Denholm.
AtomRadio.co.uk.
Yesterday we spoke about singles and that. This data came out earlier in the week about the most offensive things that you could say to someone who is single and things that you should absolutely never say. And we spoke about that yesterday, and we asked, what's the worst thing you've ever heard about you being single? And then all of a sudden yesterday, I have a conversation with a friend online, and I've not seen this friend now for probably 2.5, maybe 3 years, right? Not seen this friend. And we're talking about, just life and that. And then she goes on to say, how's things with your new girlfriend? And I said, I haven't got one, which is the truth. I haven't got one. Oh, and then she starts launching into all these things that were in the report yesterday that apparently offend women. And she is a lady, obviously, so therefore you would have thought she'd have been more tuned into these sort of things that you can't say. But she's saying, like, do you know what? I've got a friend that you would absolutely love. No, I don't need you matching me up with anyone. And I just thought, how ironic. We spend the morning talking about things you shouldn't say to singles, and then I get a little online, it was a Facebook Messenger conversation. I get a little barrage of these messages all coming in with things that you shouldn't have said.
Mark Denholm on Atom Radio.
Atom Radio, Thursday's breakfast show, and this is Mark Denholm. I'm just thinking back to Gary's situation. Gary emailed me about places you got stuck, saying that when he was cat sitting for a friend, he managed to get stuck in the toilet. He was obviously the only person there other than the cat, and he used the toilet, and then as he came out the toilet, he pulled the door handle, and the handle came off, and he was stuck until he'd rebuilt the handle. Now, obviously, imagine if, like, the friends were there and you said, can I borrow your loo? If the friends were there, then that becomes a little bit more embarrassing still, doesn't it? Because then they're like, you all right up there, Gary? You all right? You all right? Yeah, I'm all right, yeah. Now, you either come clean and you either say, I'm just fixing your door handle, or you have to tell the truth. You tell the truth, sorry, and say, I'm fixing your door handle. Or you, I'm just going. Quite embarrassing had the house owner actually been there.
Mark Denholm.
atomradio.co.uk.
When you are younger, you may very well have played what they call knockdown ginger. Got no idea what the ginger's got to do with it, though, by the way. It's not about knocking down people who happen to have red hair. Definitely not. But when you were younger, you may have played a game where you knock on someone's door and then you run away and you laugh at them as they open the door. Well, it's still happening in 2021. However, it's not people because of lockdown. Obviously, it's not people. You can't go near people's doors and knock on them. What is it? It's a swan. It's happening in Northampton, and it's become a real nuisance neighbour. It hops up out of the water it lives in and then goes to the houses opposite the water and rattles the letterboxes with its beak. Sometimes it can just stay there rattling letterboxes for 2 or 3 hours at a time. And I mean, this is a bit of a problem, I would imagine. Bit of a nightmare, really.
atomradio.co.uk.
Fair to say, I'd be quite annoyed if that was my door. I mean, I don't live near a river or anything like that, so highly unlikely to have a swan hopping up and knocking my door, but it's fair to say I would be very, very annoyed. And there isn't really much you can do about it, is there? Because obviously swans are protected and you can't really do anything about it. And I don't really think opening the door and saying go away will work. Neither will shoo. It's not going to work either, is it? So you can debate that. Clocks go forward, must remind you again, on the 28th, which is a Sunday, happens at 1 a.m. Most of your clocks will happen automatically. It's just the old-fashioned analog ones that you may very well need to change. And obviously 1 a.m. on Sunday is the magic hour. In exchange for your lost hour, you will hopefully get the signs of summertime starting on Monday. So good luck, fingers crossed, and one less hour in the weekend. Ouch. Get it back, though, later on in the year when we head back to winter. Thank you for checking out episode 127 of the Atom Radio podcast.
Atom Radio. Playing the music you want to hear.
You can catch the show on atomradio.co.uk. Tune in, online radio box, streamer, smart speaker and iTunes radio Monday to Friday between 6 and 10. See you then.
Atom Radio.